Good night, Google, or good evening. What is this? Only 7 o'clock. Good evening. Did I say Google? I meant YouTube. How are you guys? Hope all is well as it can be, in the kind of times that we are in now. Because we are not in, I don't know what to say. I'm sure the world has always been like this. I'm sure just like maybe technology has changed. But, you know, we're in crazy times. So, as things get clearer and clearer to me, I have to come and share. I have to share. I have to bring clarity to situations where there has been confusion and manipulation. So, I'm going to start off with some, you know, there's no way that this stuff is not going to be disturbing to people, but it is what it is. It is what it is. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be things that we shouldn't watch, certain things that we say for the sake of protecting people, because that I have learned myself. But there are things here that when they continue to be hidden, they continue to cause undue hardship, chaos, and confusion amongst people. So I notice when I go live, it doesn't even show that I'm going live. It shows as like a scheduled live. So I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, it still doesn't even show I'm live. I wouldn't even be surprised if people don't actually see that I'm live and like get the notifications. But you know, it is what it is. That's life. Anyway, so I want to start by just give me a second here, because there's things that I really want to talk about. There are things that I super want to talk about. Okay, so first things first. Boy, when I tell you this situation is so messy, these things that we are going through. Today is day number 2 of me coming on here to talk about God. I've had the channel for a while, but I have to put the focus now not on fighting as it was before, but on God. It has taken a lot to get here. It has taken me going through some tough lessons, some challenges, a grueling time, and I've had to be very resolute about me making sure that I can deliver my messages, finding peace in delivering my messages as well, not just fighting my way through and struggling my way through, but finding a proper way. So there's going to be multiple parts to this message, but I have to start with echoing warnings, okay? Because these things are very important. First things first, I want to say, whenever people know that you're telepathic, expect spiritual manipulation. Whenever people know that you have any kind of spiritual gift, be it psychic, be it clairvoyance, be it whatever, they're going to use that against you, to attack you, to manipulate you, and to take advantage of you. You need to be careful. You need to understand the voice of God. You need to understand, I'm saying this, please take it. You need to understand the way God is, because if you wake up and you've had some time in waking up where you had some personal time with God, you'll understand how God is. You'll understand that there are things that God will do, things that God will not do, things that God will say, things that God will not say, things that God will promote, things that God will not promote. It's not to say that God doesn't understand our reasons why we feel a certain way, but God does not promote toxicity. God does not, there are just some things you're going to know the voice of God in your life personally, and you're going to know how spirit communicates and that sort of thing. I want to also say that God does not make mistakes. It is something you must remember at your hardest moments, because you're going to think, where is God in all of this? What is going on? It is natural to think. I'm going to continue to say throughout this video that it is natural to think these things, because you are only a human being. So the things that you go through, the things that you feel, these are only natural ways to feel. No one can expect it to be different for you. I want to echo one warning. Do not have sexual contact in the spirit with anyone. You might think it might be someone you know. You might think it's an energy that you know. No, doesn't matter. And I'm even gonna, it's so important, I'm even gonna put it in the chat here, because it's that important to see. Oh, instead I made a highlight. Great. Hold on, let me see if I can do it. I can't even make a chat. It's so bad, so pathetic. My relationship with technology is horrific. I don't know how to do the most mundane, simple things. But anyway, I'm gonna put it, I had it in the community section on the page. I'm gonna say it again. Do not make any sexual contact in the spirit when you're going through a spiritual ascension. Spiritual ascensions are very delicate situations. It is a very scary situation to be waking up in these times. I'm sure it was always, but in these times, from what I can see, very scary. So it doesn't matter in what capacity someone comes to you. It doesn't matter if they look like someone you know. It doesn't matter if you have feelings for them. You got to get it under control. No sexual energy whatsoever, because we look at sex as just like, you engage in sexual activity, you can walk away, you can sleep with multiple people, whatever. But the reality of sexual activity is that people can siphon from your energy with sexual activity. People can destiny swap with you with sexual activity. People can take away from you, and people can bind you. People can attach entities to you. People can change you, and you do not want to feel out of control of yourself. So people who God wants to protect, God wants you to protect your sexual energy. This is not just about judging other people to not be promiscuous. It's literally about protecting yourself. So that's number one. Number two, I'm going to tell you guys about a situation that has happened to me. I'm going to walk you guys through it, because I need you guys to understand how scary things can be, and that it's very important to protect yourself. First of all, I want to say, I'm going to repeat, we have to walk a middle path. What I mean by a middle path is this. If you were just walking down the street, you're not a violent person, you're a normal person, you're not looking for problems with anyone. You're walking down the street and someone tackles you to the ground and starts beating on you. You're not just gonna lay there and let yourself get beat to a pulp. You gotta pull away, you gotta get out of that circumstance. You have to defend yourself. So this is the same thing spiritually. When we just wake up and we're coming out of, a lot of us, a very pure energy, and I'm not saying coming out of it, but that's the energy that you're in. When people beat down on you spiritually, you just allow it, you just take it, because you don't know what else to do. You're just waking up. Secondly, you don't know who it is and what this is about. But thirdly, God's telling you at a certain point, like, listen, just relax, let us take care of it, don't take things into your own hands and stuff like that. And this is how I take it to be, and I'm going to give my perspective on these things. Not, I can't tell you guys whether or not I might come back here and have to change my tune, but I'm telling you the honest truth, okay? You should not be doing spell work against people. That's not what we're here for. So you're really not here to go and carve people's names in candles and stuff like that. However, when people start beating down on you, you should not also just lay over and take it. I have done that for years now because I've been under these kind of spiritual attacks for years. I've laid over and just rolled over, and people have just like abused me. Come into my home willy-nilly, always in my home, always projecting into my space, cursing my altars, all kinds of things. And I mean, we're talking about like round the clock attacks all day, all night. It's been so nuts. And I finally got into got to the point where I'm just like, yeah, if people physically touch me, and so many times I've said, do not put your hands on me. Now, can you stop people from, you can put protection in your home. If people want to cross the protection, they're going to cross it. I'm just telling you now. It could be fiery, it could be whatever it is, they're going to cross the protection. You cannot control that. If people want to cast spells on you, you also cannot control that. But people putting their hands on you spiritually, that is not supposed to be something that you're supposed to be tolerating. And I can say that right now. For me, that is a boundary that I no longer let people cross. Reason being, it makes my job too difficult. One of the main jobs being coming on here and talking about God and giving these messages. Now, after 2 years of doing this, one thing that I know for a fact, is that it's very critical that I come and give these messages. And I don't mean because I feel like it. I mean, it is critical that I come and do this. It's critical that I can continue to do it. It's one thing to just do it, but people send you chaos magic when you're on here for anger, for depression, to be emotional, to be crying. And then while you're trying to give a message and you're trying to uplift people's spirits and give hope, they're sending you all of this stuff, and you have to try to, and if you don't know how it works, you're not even transmuting it. You're not even dealing with the situation. You're just feeling like, well, why did I get upset? And why am I having a bad day? And why am I this? And why? Because people are sending you dirty energy. So I had to get to the point where I said, I cannot put up with this anymore. I can't do this anymore. I got to be able to do the job. I got to be able to give the messages and give it in a proper temperament, or else I'm going to constantly have an issue. I'm going to constantly wake up and wonder, like, did I do a good job on this message yesterday? And it's just God's plans that keep stagnating because we don't see what's going on. So I tell you, if you have spiritual gifts, use them, because that is what they were given for. If God puts tools in your toolbox, use them. Let me lay some ground rules for you. You're not going to just go find people and spiritually attack them. Like, be realistic. That's not what we're here for. You're not going to wake up out of the blue and just, pick people and fight with them. You're going to try to be patient with situations. You're definitely going to warn people. I mean, it's the same thing it's the same way if your kid was learning, or you took like a karate class. You take a karate class, they're going to teach you. This is for self-defense. This is not for attacking people. This is not for going out and, dealing with people in an unfair way. So you have to be careful with how you use spiritual gifts. And I always say, not because you can do something means that you should do something. You should always take your time in assessing situations, and you should try to be sure no matter what. However, when it comes to the point where it is now affecting your day-to-day, not just your day-to-day work, but your day-to-day livelihood, it's affecting your children, it's affecting your peace of mind, you have no choice. You have to defend yourself. And I'm telling you, Spirit pray about it. Pray about it is what I'm going to say. But I will say we're here to take a middle path. We're not here to be beat into a pulp and put in a coffin, okay? Because these energies will never, ever, 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 ever stop. If somebody slaps you, you need to block the slap. And sometimes you need to drive home a message that says, I will not be putting up with this anymore. Because people have to second guess attacking you. People are going to come after everything. As TIs, you know, animals turn up missing or turn up, you know, unalived. They attack children non-stop. There's so much stuff that happens. It is just, it's very, very scary stuff. So that is my second message. Please take a middle path, defend yourself. It's like saying people are sending me energy, but I'm not going to protect my home. I'm not going to, you know, take care of myself. I'm not going to clean up my space. That's insane. You have to do that. Sometimes God takes you through a journey of learning first before you're put in a situation where it's like, okay, now you can defend yourself. God might put you in a situation first where it's like, you got to learn. So in me saying about the middle path, listen, it's much easier when people do not wound you in very deep ways. Part of the reason why, give me a second here. So part of the reason I'm telling this story is because I have to explain to you guys the things that happen, and I'm going to explain that by just telling you my personal situation as well. So what has happened to me in the last couple of days, and I'm talking about like maybe like a week or two. I've seen this happen to other people, so this is nothing new. And I want to be very careful in the message that I give. Actually, it's all going to come together. You cannot stay a baby forever. When I say this place is dangerous, I mean this place is dangerous, and I really mean it. People pretend to be the voice of God in your head. Yesterday, I was really pissed off because I have been dealing with a situation silently and not saying anything about it. And yesterday, it came to a head where it's like I was just pushed too far. And there were things that had already ticked me off. And then it just came to the point where I was like, okay, now this person has really gone way too far. I kind of knew the reason they were doing things, but it's like they've gone too far. So my situation here has been a ton of manipulation. I have assumed that someone that I actually had a relationship with had a wife somewhere, or this was the narrative they were giving. Someone I'm actually with has a wife, and that wife is upset about me and whatever. And I'm thinking, but I would never date anyone who's married. Like, what is going on? Like, you know. And then I come to find out that it's not an actual situation. It's actually the wife of the practitioner who's been attacking me. Actually, both of them. Everybody here has been spiritually attacking me. And in this situation, God has said, make peace. And stop fighting, make peace, stop this, you know, this has to end. And in the course of making peace, I have also just very respectfully addressed the wife as well and said, hey, listen, you guys have to heal. These are the messages that I'm getting. And I've literally tried to pray with people and tried to help that healing process, because it's like the feeling and the messages that I'm getting is like, you're here to save this person because this person is going through a lot. And I'm thinking to myself, what a Christ walk, because this is very much like something this is a Jesus Christ story. Trying to save the person who's been attacking you the whole time. And the whole time, I've only thought it's just a practitioner. And I've alluded many times on this page and said, oh, this person's under some type of backfired love spell, this, that, and the third, and that sort of thing. But I've never taken this situation personally or seriously, as far as like, I'm thinking they know it's some kind of spell work. I know it's some spell work. This is not, anything like that. And turns out this person's wife has been manipulating the situation behind the scenes to cause chaos and conflict so bad. And I remember I thought to myself the whole time, they're letting this one person take the fall. And I know multiple people here have gang stalked, have been involved, have done all of this stuff, and nobody else's name is being mentioned, just this one person's name. But I'm like, listen, it's none of my business. I'm just here to expose this thing and make sure people know what's going on. And so I come full circle, and so one day I was going to the gas station, and these two people from my country who speak my language, they show up. And this is how it works with handlers. There's one person handling another person, and so there's a degree of separation between you and the real manipulator. So this one girl brings this other girl, and they keep saying, I like your hair, I like your hair. Like, from the moment they come in, I know that they've come in to, they've been strategically waiting for me to walk down the road to come into the gas station to do this. I say nothing to them, I make no eye contact, I don't talk to them, I go. And I remember she made a very rude comment, and she said the only reason her hair looks like that is because it's a wash and go, and if you did your hair like that in one day, it would look like that. I didn't address it. I walked away. I'm like, look, I'm very tired of people trying to date me from off of the streets. I'm very tired of people trying to befriend me. I'm very tired of people coming strategically, all kinds of stray beggar men from every direction you could think of, like trying to throw themselves at me. I'm very sick of it. This is not how this is gonna go. So there are people who are just walking the street, they look like they're wandering, and then they start conversations with me and they force it. I'll walk out of somewhere and they were just standing there the entire time, and they're just waiting for me to come out to start talking to me. So I know what's going on. And I left that alone and I walked away. So this person has been tapping into my energy. This person has been listening to my prayers, because she speaks my language and I pray in my language. And this person has been listening to my prayers, and then this person started mimicking the voice of God. Now, the thing about it is, these people try to abuse you, so it's very clear who and what they are. And like I said yesterday, there's going to be a lot of times where things happen and God gives you indication, like, and it's like they don't outwardly say anything, but it's like, like, okay, well, let me just go along with this situation. So the purpose of this person was to get me to try to be in a relationship with the practitioner, so they can prove the narrative of me being some kind of side chick to this person. And I've talked about openly that I just thought this was me being recruited. I didn't think this had anything to do with a relationship. But this person has gone ahead and gang stalked me and done all of this stuff for so many years and attacked me. And because they're exposed, Melissa, her name is Melissa, I'm going to get her last name, she needs to prove that I have a relationship with her husband, and I don't. And so I remember I came on here and I was flipping through the Bible, and I got some chapter about marriage, and I panicked, and then they gang stalked me even harder the next day. And it's just been such a messy situation, and it definitely went left from where it was supposed to be, because like I said, they are trying to keep me from my ex. And I think one of the things that they wanted to do was paint this narrative to my ex that I did have a relationship, or do have a relationship with this practitioner. And what they don't want it coming out. Girl, I'm gonna expose your ass tonight. They did not expect that I wasn't gonna keep this to myself. And so they kept pushing me and using this kind of thing of like the voice of God, and saying that he's the one attacking me, and all of this kind of stuff to like provoke me to either fight with him or try to be in a relationship with him, and try to throw love spells over me towards him, and all this kind of manipulation. And I really talk about the fact I've seen this happen to somebody else before. And I remember I brought up somebody's name who it happened to, and I'm like, what about this person? And they're like, just forget about this person. And it's a tarot reader, and I know that that's what happened, is manipulation, is they pretended to be the voice of God in her ear to make her think that I was a bad person. But I think they do this to multiple people. Sometimes people no longer interact with you, or budding friendships get, because there's psychic manipulation in that. Even if people might not know that they're psychic, or they're not even psychic, but it's just like energetic manipulation in relationships to make things look certain way. So Melissa, wife of John, has been the one who's gone out of her way to make it seem like I have a relationship with this guy or something going on with this guy in the final hour. And the last couple days, there's been so much spiritual fighting because she brought in other people to make it look like there's conflict that there's not, and it should be peace. And it's crazy because this person needs help, and you have to not care about a person at all to see them in that condition and not care. And this is the scariest part. This is somebody who has all kinds of issues. And this is really about money. This is about finishing a job. They want to finish the job. They want to block my business. They want to manipulate. Right now, they put my address on the internet. Like, these people have like hacked my phone, gotten pictures, nudes, put it on the internet, like all kinds of things that are just out of the way crazy. Just to be able to push a storyline about me. When I say do not have any sexual relations in the spirit, they will come in other people's energy. They will do things that are so out of the box, and these people will project into your home. They will talk about you. It's been very abusive communication in the voice of spirit. It's been looking into my personal affairs, giving feedback back on my prayers. All kinds of things have been happening in this situation to block peace. To block peace. And what I mean by blocking peace, I don't mean that I need to be in a relationship with someone, I'm saying not fighting. That's what God's been asking for. Stop fighting. We gotta stop fighting. Every day it's a fight. Now, this person knows I'm innocent. This person knows I want nothing to do with any kind of situation like that. This person knows that. That's why they had to bring in somebody else to manipulate the situation, to push me. And when that wasn't successful, they did a whole manipulation thing. People know who you are, know that you're innocent, and people know that you want nothing to do with these situations. It's been her on my devices. It's been her doing all of these things. Like, it's really bad. And she knows that for a fact, that I want nothing to do with this situation. This has not been me. As a matter of fact, I came on camera the day after that whole message and was in a panic. I was like, listen, I can't be a part of this, whatever this is, good luck in life. They gang stalked me harder the day after that. These situations are very bad. This should be none of my business. I don't even know at this point what is supposed to come of this situation. But I can tell you, if you're married to a demonic energy like this is like really bad. This is a person who doesn't care about this person at all. And I'm not saying that the practitioner is a great person. I'm definitely not saying that. But I am definitely saying her and her brother do not care. They paint elaborate illusions. They come to you in dreams. She's been trying to block for a long time any communication between the two of us. And I don't need to communicate with this person to have anything personal with them. Stop fighting. At some point, it's done. I've said that so many times. There should be peace. There should be no fighting. I've never mentioned her name because I've never had an issue with her. I've come on here and exposed him in so many ways, so she knows that. She knows that there's nothing, but this is her justification to not look like a deranged criminal. This lady has sent me so many beauty spells. This lady has asked me telepathically, like, why my hair is not falling out, what I'm using in my hair, why I'm not gaining weight, what do I use on my skin. Like, this lady is deranged. And the whole time that I used to hear all of these messages in tarot, I thought this was like a metaphor. I'm like, maybe they're talking about like a partnership. Maybe this is a metaphor for something. No, it's somebody's actual wife. And I used to get so many ads on my thing about falling in love with a married man. I'm like, who the hell are they talking about? And what is the storyline about falling in love with a married man? And I felt so provoked and cornered in the last 2 weeks to almost like pretend I have feelings in a situation just to like get through a situation, not be gang stalked, not be blocked. That's not the way life is supposed to go. Is somebody's wife is in the background manipulating a situation to try to make it seem like you have an affair with her husband so she can justify her envy of you. And there's no reason to envy me at all. I mind my business. I want to take this as an example to really talk to you when you're waking up about the manipulation that's going to happen through your gifts. Now, I know other people in here in this situation were spiritually manipulated as well to believe the voice of God was something that it wasn't. Other people were manipulated. You know, you pray to spirit and, you know, usually I give a little like kiss on the cheek, good night, you know, and I felt uncomfortable to do that. It's just like always been this overt sexual energy in my prayers. It's bad. Somebody has to talk about this stuff because nobody's saying anything. Somebody has to talk about this stuff because nobody is telling people that this is occurring. And these people are going to manipulate you constantly using the voice of God, pretending to be spirit in your life. And you don't know that it's other people that are manipulating you, manipulating things behind the scenes to make things look a particular way so that they can run with a storyline. I am not now, nor have I ever been a homewrecker or would date someone married. But I remember in my situation too, they asked me if my ex was married, my actual ex was married. And I was like, no. And they're like, you believed him? And I'm like, well, he looked me directly in the eye. There was no reason for me to say like he never behaved that way. And so the dating married men narrative has been something that they've wanted to have for so long. And I remember even trying to move on from my ex and online dating. All those men were always married, and they sometimes would be in the room with their spouse and trying to be on the phone with me. And it's like I would sense it and be like, what is wrong with these people? These people have constantly just wanted evidence of me being some kind of homewrecker. But I will say, I don't think that this is something that is unique to my situation. I think that this is definitely something that happens to female targets a lot. I've read this story online. Other people saying, just trying to justify themselves and saying, I don't date married men. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. And it's like, it's a regular thing. When they try to break up relationships, they will paint you as that type of person. And it's so odd. This message is really important for me because I have to clear my name and I have to clear confusion. The truth cannot be hidden. That's the truth. A lot of things can be hidden for a long time, but the truth cannot long be hidden. I don't know what is going on in other people's homes, and I do not put it past him to be in on the nonsense as well because he came as a married man. I don't put it past anybody in this situation, but one thing that I do know is that please keep me out of these situations. Keep me out of it. And the more I think about it, it's like I have for the past 2 weeks, it's like anytime I pull away, they gang stalk harder. So it's like me feeling a burden to just pretend I have feelings or pretend that this is some sort of thing that has to happen for the sake of like them not blocking me in every way, but they still do. They still do. They try to make it covert. They attack me night and day. This situation has to come to an end. This is insane. This is lunacy. It genuinely is. It's lunacy. This is gonna be exposed one way or the other. We cannot remain spiritual babies forever. Okay, we have gifts for a reason. We have the gift of discernment for a reason. We have spirit with us for a reason. And we have to remember, sometimes you don't know how important you are in the spirit You don't know how important you are in the spirit, and you just still think you're a regular person, but God is working through you to expose things, to bring things to light, and to help people who have been confused, because people will not. Hell, I am still like, what in the hell is going on? It's crazy. The point I want to get to with this story is, what really pissed me off about this situation is someone pretending to be the voice of God. And I always get upset about these situations because I say, this is where it goes so far, because it's like, if you know somebody is spiritually connected, then you know that you're communicating with that person in full plain sight of God, and they don't care. And this is concerning because it's like, and it just leads me to think they've been doing this inside of God. They don't care. So these people are manipulating, whether it's tarot readers, anybody with a spiritual gift, they manipulate you, and they make you turn on people. They make you attack people just to be able to say, oh, see, this is an evil person. This person's doing this and that. But they're using the voice of God, and they know how devoted you are to God. And if they couldn't get a friend to do it, and if they couldn't get like somebody who's close to you to get you to do it, they start using the voice of God and telling you to attack people. I had to, God was like, forgive that tarot reader. And I was like, you know what? I don't understand it, but I'm going to do what God says. And I forgave her. And now I realize definitely there was manipulation there. And they definitely used the voice of God to make it seem like I was someone that I wasn't, not to trust me, that I'm a liar and all this stuff. And that's probably how it ended up happening. I'm positive that's how it's ended up happening. So this practitioner's wife and her little brother, they work against him straight up. They straight up just, the house is divided. And I don't know how this works. I don't know if they have him under any kind of domination, if they work on it. Like, I don't know. And quite frankly, I don't know if I'm supposed to know or supposed to. I don't know if this is my business. I just don't know how I got involved in the middle of these people. This is the thing that's crazy. This is what happens to us as targets. Like, you don't know. And I want to stop using the word target for a little bit and say people going through ascensions. When you're going through spiritual ascensions, people want to sacrifice you. That's all it comes down to. They want to make you a living sacrifice, or they want to literally like unalive you. It takes coming to the point that I'm at spiritually to be able to talk about this up front. Because I in the old place where I was being spiritually manipulated. Oh, don't do anything, just like turn the other cheek. They would be attacking me on camera right now. But I don't put up with any mess anymore at all. I will never just get up in the morning and start attacking people in the way that people have attacked me. But if people start with me, I immediately put a full stop to it. I do not put up with it. And I suggest the same for everybody here. You have to defend yourself spiritually. You cannot keep being beaten down upon for any reason whatsoever. It is just not okay. I've put up with enough of it. This is what ascension looks like. This is what ascension looks like. Ascension is just an abusive process. I want to talk about the fact that it's all waking up spiritually is already a delicate process, because if you're not just as a normal person whose life is going to be, let's say your life is unaffected, you still go to work, you still go to school, nothing happens, nothing changes, except accepting the spirit world and accepting that it does not look like what you think it's going to look like, meaning you're going to get in the spirit realm and people are going to look, or not people, but spirits do not look like what you expect them to look like. They don't look just like in human form. There are creatures that look like multiple different things out there. And it can be very scary, but that doesn't mean that they're bad. It's just how they appear, because some of them are spirits, some of them are gods, some of them are passed over people, like people that used to be human and now they're passed over. There's all kinds of entities out there. And so it's a shocking thing as it is, but can you imagine now every time someone wants to wake up that's going to be in service of humanity, helping people in every way, that they go through this level of persecution? When I say that God has waited a long time for me to get here, and I've had to be patient with this situation. I'm talking about just to get here, just to get to the point that I'm so confident that I can do my job, that I can defend myself, that I've learned my lesson. I know how to take care of myself. I know how to cleanse. I know how to battle in the spirit. We are all going to have very unique challenges in this. Some of us, it might be patience. Some of us, it might be anger. Some of us, it might be commitment. Some of us, it might be just becoming aware, avoiding pitfalls, avoiding traps. My God, they plant traps every day. They're strategizing something right now. If they can't follow you everywhere, they'll sit outside your house every day in like on shift work and follow you. If they can't hack, they'll do this. If they can't do that, they'll do that. And it's just like, it's never ending. Because people have, who knows why? I'm so tired of, because I can't make sense of it. I can't make sense of it. This makes no sense. I mean, I would understand genuinely if someone was carrying on a relationship with someone's husband in real life. I would definitely understand. I'm not saying the round the clock spell work and crazy stuff like that, but I'd be like, okay, well, I get it. Somebody's really pissed off. But someone who has absolutely no contact whatsoever, who has no interest, who is minding their business, that means you're unhinged to do this kind of stuff. And to go out of your way to destroy a person in this way, it means you're crazy. And I know this person looks like what they are inside. Now they do, after all the beauty spells backfired. I know they do. I know they do. This is heartless energy. These people are heart. Let me tell you, it's so bad. After I blatantly told, and this girl's a witch. They're all witches. But after I blatantly told this person, like, listen, she really pissed me off in the morning. And after I couldn't hold it anymore, and I was like, I blatantly showed her, like, outed her, she still came back again and tried to do it again. I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is crazy. These are the energies that you're dealing with, unrelenting energies that just will not stop. You are not just waking up just to wake up and have gifts. You're waking up because the gifts that you have enable God to do something. These people, this family, Melissa's family, has destroyed so many lives in my city. She is behind gang stalking. Everybody who has been gang stalked, she's the one, her family has been behind it. And everybody who's aligned with them. It's Melissa and her family, her criminal family. Her grandfather was some sort of lawyer, and I gotta look up the story. He was some sort of lawyer, and they had some illegal business, and they sued them, and I don't know, they got a settlement, 5 million, something like that. I can't remember the story. But the level of illegal activity here is crazy. Now, I want to be very clear. Well, she already knows. If she wants to come in here and do something, cast some spells or whatever, hey, listen, I can't stop you. I can't stop her from doing that. But I'm not going to put up with it at all. I've never had an affair with this woman's husband. I've never had interest. They manipulated, they went on dating sites, they did all of that. That's what they do. That's how they get victims. They go on dating sites, and that's how they get people caught up in their web. And it's just been so horrific the past 2+ years. I cannot believe that they still wanted a fight to go on. She still wanted a fight to go on, and this man's like on his last leg. She doesn't care. Her and the brother do not care. They don't care at all. I think she hates him. To tell you the truth, I really do. I think she hates him. My name will be vindicated. My name will be cleared. I've never ever dated a married person in my life. That's not who I am. I don't do stuff like this at all. I don't stand for that, and she knew that. They know that for a fact. This situation is really, it shows you the dark side of human beings, of human nature. Never knew people were like this. Those of us being gang stalked, we never knew people were like this. We never knew this could exist. This puzzles you. The worst part about it, if there are people who just didn't know, it would be one thing, but they know and they do it anyway. There are a ton of them that know and they do it anyway. They're just okay with this behavior. I thank God for Spirit being with me. That's why I tell people you need Spirit in your heart. People try to replicate the voice of God and do all of this stuff, but you will always know the voice of God because you will know the feeling of God. Like, I mean, we could go on and on and on and on and on. That day I felt so upset. It's not that I didn't feel insulted before, but I was trying to hold on. As God had said, I'm trying to hold on. Just see as it goes. Just go along with it. Because when God says these things, it's like you know that there's some type of plan here. There's something here. You don't know what it is, but you're going to follow in that day that I lost my cool. It's like, wow. Wow. They want to affect your relationship with Spirit. A part of this as well is recruiting you to be in their secret societies. They want you to be, I think it's Freemasons. I said that before. I think there's Freemasons involved here. These people involved Freemasons. They involved the cartel. They involved everybody. This is dangerous. This is a dangerous level of hate for someone to have in their heart, that they would be ready to go this far. This is crazy stuff. And everybody here is suffering karma, and they're telling people that I'm the one that's doing it. It will be delineated. All of the things that have been done here, it will come out to light. Because there's way more than I know about. I'm telling you, they've done crazy things. They've done crazy things. This is a criminal family. They are known to the police because they're known to bribe police. It's crazy. It's bad. They've known to bribe judges. They've just been doing this for a very long time. And now Spirit is saying enough is enough. So I come here to talk about commitment. Part of the commitment that you're supposed to have, part of your commitment is because God is doing a job, and God is doing that job through you. God has to save people. There have been people crying out for help. There have been people that are binded in situations spiritually. And let me tell you, even the person that came trying to act as the voice of God, because she understands my language, she's binded 110%. They're trying to bind me on camera right now. She's binded. That's why she had to come back multiple times, even regardless of the fact that she was already exposed. They were trying to manipulate and control me through this girl. And one thing she kept saying was, this woman, I know exactly what she looks like. The one thing they kept saying is, you don't ever listen, you don't ever listen. No, I see right through you. What do you mean I don't listen? I'm grunting and bearing patience. It's so bad, the manipulation, the things that they do. So sometimes God sees through things, and there's a reason. Now, I still don't know what the entire reason is for enduring that, but I can tell you, one of the first things that I see that I can say to people is, let me tell you, people will try to ruin your relationship with God, make you question the voice of God in your life. You will be thinking that you're praying and it's them. It's them in your prayer talking back to you. You're thinking you're having such a beautiful communication with Spirit, and it's not. And they will manipulate you against others. And the minute you find out, you're going to feel so horrible that you're almost going to want to not pray, because you're going to feel insecure. You're going to be like, people have been listening to my prayers. People have been doing this. Imagine me going into prayer every single night, every single day, and feeling as though exposed and having to just continue to be natural, or else I'm going to give it away, or else people are going to know, and I'm not going to get to see the end result of it. It takes a lot of discipline to control your thoughts when you're that disgusted. It takes a lot. Trust me. People don't know. You guys have no clue. This is bad. If you're being gang stalked, it is way deeper than you think it is. It's spiritually dark. It's very dark. It's a dark place. So you must be very careful. Whatever you came here for, whether it's to expose things, whether it's to demask people, whether it's to for God to meet people through you. God met that girl who did that. That's not her time. Her first time. She's seasoned in doing that. That witch from my country, she's seasoned in doing that. That's not her first time doing that. She's seasoned. And the people here, they're very seasoned in manipulation. I mean, these are things that they sit down and plan. But I don't think these are new plans. I think they just kind of have like little processes that they continue to implement. These people are dark. And these people have met God through this situation. It's one thing doing it in the dark, and it's a totally other thing when you do it and God is just sitting right there watching you the entire time. And you think that you will get God, and you think you'll circumvent God, and God is sitting right there listening to every conversation intently. These people have like files on you. I don't mean like, I mean they have actual documents that they share. Your likes, your dislikes, what you said, what you didn't say. And they use those documents in order to manipulate you, and they give it to other people and they tell people to study. And the first time this happened, it really pissed me off. And the second time, it pissed me off even more because I said, where are the boundaries? For me, it always boils down to where are the boundaries? Where are the boundaries? None. They have no place they wouldn't go to. It's so bad when you're trying to wake up. Waking up is already bad because spirit has to show up. And, you know, these are not energies that are going to come cloaked and pretend, because how the heck are they going to work with you? And you have an honest relationship if spirit comes lying. And it's going to be frightening. And we see what spirit looks like. And I'm going to stop calling her the saint of death because she's way more than that. And I know even for me, if I didn't feel her energy first, how nervous I would be in order to wake up. And spirit's hands get forced when these kinds of people come and they block ascensions, and so they block God's path in your life. That's how they steal your destiny. Yesterday, after being pissed off, I had to still show up in prayer, because there's not going to be a day I'm not going to show up in prayer. I'm going to show up in prayer forever and ever until I leave this earth, and I'm going to come back and give my messages forever and ever as well, because people depend on these messages. When it was me, I depended on these messages myself. So there is no way, come hell or high water, that I'm not going to show up here and do what I have to do. And that's the same commitment that you have to have in your journey. It's very hard to wake up with the amount of misinformation and targeting, because they keep telling people, well, this is the V2K machine, and this is this, and this is that. These people are in your head. And if you allow them, they're going to be in your head all day long. They're going to be in your head all day long, saying things they've called, they call you, for me, there's always been racism, calling me a monkey, giving me the finger, like all kinds of things. The fact that I still prayed, they were pissed off about that. The fact that I still meditated this morning, the point was to stop me from doing these things. That's the point, to stop your connection with God. You got to remain resolute and committed. I will never be a Freemason. It will never happen. They will never recruit me. So if they owe people money, or if they've binded to something in order to get that done, you know, it's gonna go that way. I'm just never gonna do it. I'm never gonna bow to any false gods. I'm never going to align with any of these energies. It's literally never gonna happen. It doesn't matter if they want to accept it or not. They can drag it down to the last day. It just is what it is. They paint a lot of illusions, and there's a lot of lies here. It's been a lot of manipulation for quite some time. But I have to say, yesterday I was really pissed off about it, and I was like, God, this is a lot. But today I can say I understand a little bit more why it had to happen. There has been a lot that I've learned from the experience regardless. I've learned a lot from it, and for that, I gotta be thankful. There are different layers of waking up. Sometimes waking up is really not just about waking up to the spirit realm. So some of my messages would be rudimentary to people who are casting heavy spells. Sometimes it's waking up to the life that you're living is not good. That's really sometimes all it is. Like, you might just be waking up to the fact that, like, God is real and karma is real, and there comes a day where you got to pay for everything that you've done. And this person has been repeatedly sending crown attacks at me to make me go crazy, to block my connection with God. Like, heavy spell work, heavy stuff. Then telling me the practitioner is doing it, he's the one doing it. I mean, it's been a lot of manipulation and meddling. So if this is happening in my situation, it is 1,000% happening with everybody that is waking up. I don't know if there's really a V2K machine or not, but I'm telling you, they're talking in your head and they're disrespectful, and they'll pass their place as long as you will allow it. You gotta be the one to put your foot down. You cannot allow this to happen to you. These energies would literally hurt themselves to block you. And I mean backfire after backfire after backfire. Some crazy audacity, backfire after backfire after backfire after backfire. Hair is falling out. Obese, looking horrible, hateful, and still doing spell work every single day. Even after I say, listen, don't touch anything, just leave things alone. This is what these people would do. It's very crazy to me. These are career witches that we are dealing with here. These are not just like your run-of-the-mills, I need a love spell, I need something. No, these are career witches that bind people and do a lot of craziness. These are who these people are. And they will go to any length, and I need to repeat that. They will go to any length. Women will come to you to do sex magic on you. Like, I mean, there's no length. They will pretend to be God. They will pretend to be. This witch was saying, I plead the blood of Jesus yesterday. This is a whole witch. They will do and say anything. I'm telling you, it's very crazy. If spirit needs you to get through something, spirit will also go to any lengths to make sure that you get the information that you need. And that's why people like me exist, because spirit needs people on the ground giving guidance. People, you need to hear someone say, this could happen and this is how it happens. Be careful. Don't communicate with the voices in your head or the whatever. Spirit doesn't actually communicate like that. Well, in my case anyway. Sorry to you guys. Ascension, I was gonna say ascension can be jarring. Ascension is jarring. Ascension is a jarring experience, but it should never be this draining. I said the first day yesterday, I said, I wish I met spirit. When, not yesterday, the day before, I said, I wish I met spirit at a time of peace. How beautiful this relationship would have been. That's what they want. So they can really explain to you like who you are. But this is part of your journey. I don't think this was a mistake. Part of my journey is to go through this. And it does take this level of chaos and conflict and stress and strife to get where you have to go. It takes this. It takes this much. It should never be this draining. I want to say, please be patient in your journey. I know no one wants to hear that. When I'm upset, I do not want to hear that. I'm like, oh my God, when is this going to be? When is this going to end? But the truth is, it takes time. It takes time. Sometimes we think the situation has to change, and sometimes it's us who has to change. It's us who has to change. We have to grow up. We have to step into our spirituality. We have to step into our roles. You cannot step into your role from a certain place. You have to spiritually grow up. What is the point of leaving a cycle and you're not ready to leave the cycle? You're not ready to grow up. There's no point. Some things you can only graduate when the doors become unlocked. It could be new skills that you acquire, new information, changes of perspective, whatever it is. Whatever it is, you can only graduate when you unlock these doors. Spirit genuinely understands your pain, your feelings of being drained, your low points. They more than understand it, trust me. If they could understand, they understand all people, good and bad. But you're being asked to wait. Just wait. They will manipulate you with gospel. They'll ask you not to watch tarot anymore. Don't do this, don't do that. And a lot of the times, and I can tell you in my situation, Spirit allows it for a reason. Because you got to walk the path. You got to get there. You got to see everything. It is what it is. Now, if things are blocked, let's say, for example, I did not come into contact with that person who tried to be the voice of God, even though I knew it was happening. Spirit doesn't get to catch them. You gotta let them come forth. And I know that's difficult to think because you're like, wait a minute, I'm the one facing all of it. Yeah, that God is meeting people through you. That's why you're so important. That's why you're just being asked to just be patient. You think exposure is going to stop this person or these people? No, they're going to come with a new tactic tonight, today, not tomorrow, today. They'll say, we'll try better next time. What can you do here? You got to be patient on God's timing. You got to do things God's way. Are we happy? No. Sometimes when you come to it takes coming to the end of things a lot of the times for me to be like, well, why would this happen? Even though I know logically. But some of the stuff I'm like, wait, why would this be allowed to occur? And then at the end of it, I'm like, oh, okay, got it. You cannot outmaneuver God. You can't fool God. Because the same way that people might think that they're being sly, that nobody could see them projecting in the house, that nobody could see them standing in the corner listening, manipulating and all that. God's like literally right there watching, standing right next to them. God's literally hearing the plans. God's literally listening to it. And like I said, when God lives in your heart, God doesn't need to put you in on the plan. God will just move your hand, move your feet, move your, whatever at the right time. And things will come through. And this is why every time something they can't tell the difference sometimes between when it's you and when it's God. And so they try to block God within you. And what can be more of a violation to spirit than someone literally trying to block spirit? I think that's insane. You're being asked to just wait through your situation, take it slow. Don't rush it. We've come such a long way. And we don't know how much further we have to go. But we've come a long way with this journey. For me to come to a point, there should be relief in peace. Peace shouldn't be something that people do not want. People should be like, listen, I can't do this. A logical person should not want to fight like this. Unnecessarily fighting something that means nothing. Maybe it means something to them. I don't know, because I don't have the full story. Whenever you get to the point of thinking of giving up, ask yourself, okay, give up on what next? After you give up, what else are you going to do? I give up on myself. Okay, what are you going to wake up tomorrow to do? And go where? And do what? If these people get their way with you, I promise you, you will be binded up so badly, worse than you can ever humanly imagine. You will be binded up. You will literally be a slave forever. And I've explained that these kind of bindings, it's like they travel through lifetimes with you. It is so important. It's like being a Christian, not a Christian, but giving your life to spirit. Spirit shows back up here with you every single time. They're going to reincarnate with you. And it's important that you give your soul to the correct, and you're not just giving your soul to a random spirit. If you feel moved and called to do this, it's because this is your spirit, this is your higher self anyway, and you'll know that and you'll feel that. um Whether it's like my situation and people are fighting for a lie to be true, or whether they're just fighting you with vengeance day and night for money or for whatever reason, I think it always boils down to money, personally. God understands that. But you have to understand that these situations have been happening to other people for a very long time. And for a very long time, God's been waiting to see these situations come to an end. So sometimes you gotta say, listen, if it has to be through me, I wouldn't have picked it for myself, but I understand why you needed that. Their criminal life is done. That's just that on that. This cannot continue. This is not just a criminal life. This is spiritually criminal. This is painful. This is heartbreaking. I'm telling you, there's a betrayal that kinds of betrayals that you can go through where these are not just betrayals because you know someone. It just feels like, and it's not a betrayal because you guys are even the same race. It's just like, listen, like, I can't describe why I'm describing it as a betrayal, but I'm just saying it's like sometimes it's like maybe it's like because they're a human being. Like, aren't you a human being? This is embarrassing is not the word when this comes out, not if, but when. Embarrassing is not the word. It's like you're gonna finally be seen for the ghastly beast that you are. You're a beast. You're a beast, and not in a good way, in a horrific way. This is beastly behavior. It's not human behavior. This is terrible stuff. And there are gonna be people that are gonna have so many stories to tell about all the horrific things that they've gone through. It's going to be such a nightmare. This criminal family that people know are a criminal family. And it's like that in all our situations globally. These are not... It's crazy. It's very crazy. Your best action is to protect yourself in the spirit. Okay, I'm in every way possible, protect yourself. These people are throwing spell work at me night and day and night. Day and night, round the clock. They're still throwing spell work. This is shocking. Sometimes you literally just have to have faith. God just wants your faith. We lose good people all the time for impatience and just not waiting it through. Just have faith and hold on. God sees everything. God is there, but God's not blocking it for a reason. It's just not safe for you to move forward without this knowledge. I see that for myself. I'm like, wait, I knew this, but imagine if I never felt how real it was. First of all, I wouldn't be able to have compassion or give forgiveness to others who've gone through it. But even worse, how would I be able to detect and spot this in future? How would I be able to come and tell people that this is going on? These people want you to look aggressive, like you're the one attacking them, and the whole time when they get exposed, they're not going to be able to like come out of the house. It is too dangerous to be alone in this situation. It is too dangerous for you to not be with spirit. I cannot overstate that. It is too dangerous. Were I not spiritually protecting myself, you don't even know the half. You cannot get your breakthrough and you don't even know how to defend yourself. You're gonna have to set an example of a couple people, not just one. I'm just being honest with you what it takes. It's not just you feeling like you don't want to do it. It's dangerous. It's like saying, you know, your path is to, I don't know, do whatever. Let's say, be a soldier, and nobody teaches you how to load a gun. Nobody teaches you hand-to-hand combat. Nobody teaches you about minefields and bombs, and like it's not safe to put you out there. They're literally just sacrificing you if they let you go out there. So You have to go through these spiritual battles that help you to wake up. That's what this is about. And at the same time, it's not a wasted opportunity. They clean up these kinds of messes of these spiritual criminals. Not everybody can do something like this. These people who send death spells, these people who do all of this stuff, who curse people's lives, who bind them up, who do all of this stuff, who manipulate people, who pretend to be God in people's lives. I mean, that to me, I'm just like, it takes a strong stomach. It takes a strong stomach to see. I'm not today gonna go into the details of it, but I will eventually. Very manipulative, very manipulative. It's dark. There are so many waves of attacks that are coming at you that at some point you're just gonna lose your fear. You're gonna lose your fear. It's impossible to still have fear in this situation when they've sent everything that they could. They've done everything that they could. They want to break the protection. I mean, they're working around the clock. It's crazy. But you have to go through your waves of attack. I had to go through my waves of attack. It's gotten to a ridiculous point, I'm telling you. The purpose of this is to block your ascension. And like I mentioned before, part of it is to recruit you. They want to break you. They want to break your... Part of the reason why God blocks you from having these very deep wounds in this situation is because God wants to make sure that you don't go dark. God wants to make sure that you don't go getting graveyard dirt and, sending that kind of magic towards people. So they block that from you. They block you from having these super deep wounds that would block you from God and block God from being able to reach you. Does that mean you're not going to be... Of course you're going to be upset. You're a human being. Everybody's going to get upset. Don't hold yourself to a standard, some imaginary standard. Everybody gets upset. Everybody loses their cool. Everybody flies into, I'm not saying like a blind rage, it's uncontrollable, but these things will push you. And it's a matter of bringing yourself back down and relaxing and getting back to your senses, getting back into a prayerful mood. When you get to the end of your journey or nearing the end, the attacks are going to be wild. Okay, it's going to be wild stuff. I've seen wild stuff this whole time through. They want to stop God's work through you. So if you lose faith, then God's plan stops. And the souls that we're here to save, the people we're here to wake up, the people we're here to talk to, they get lost in this as well. So it's not just you. It is not just you. We lose a lot of people, like I've said. And for me, I make sure to never be one of those people who ever gets lost to God. So I continue to show up in prayer. I continue to give my commitment. I continue to give blind faith in the situation, to throw myself behind my decision, because this is your destiny. It takes this path, but this is how you get through it. This is how you get there. And this is how you make heart over head decisions. Head decisions are looking at money, it's looking at material things like that. And a heart decision might be a decision for loving spirit, but it's also a head decision because it's like there's no cost to your soul. And people know that. That's why they're trying to sacrifice you. They already sacrificed themselves. They cannot feel love. They cannot feel empathy, compassion. That's dead. They've dulled that down way too much by doing too many things. They can't feel anymore. So you have to keep yourself grounded. You got to keep yourself grounded as much as possible. And things happen and emotions fluctuate. But you got to make sure you keep yourself grounded. Bounce back in your tough moments and know that spirit is always with you no matter what, and no one can take that away, because you belong to God and God belongs to you, and you guys came here together to get this done. Spirit's always going to guide you, watch you, and going to maneuver to assist you, whether or not. And it's Just because you're going through a spiritual ascension, it's no different from your regular life where you went through whatever you went through in life and you didn't even believe in God or know that God was there. Still, God still showed up in your situation when you thought you were suffering, when you thought things were working against you, when you thought your situation was hopeless. You didn't need spiritual gifts back then for God to be there for you. So what makes you think without spiritual connection before that God came through for you and now is going to be any different? Hold your faith. Don't go dark like other people. And what I mean by that is do not go casting spells, do not go doing any of this kind of stuff that people think, are you going to be tempted? Yes, you are. And me telling you that you're not is not going to be, it's going to be an unrealistic thing to say. So when you finally get to that point, I mean, everybody's path is different. There are some people who've had to go to jail, who've lost kids. There are some people who are going to lose family members. Of course, you think losing a family member is not going to make you want to go dark? Of course it's going to want to make you go dark. A lot of things are going to make you want to go dark. They know that. That is the point of what they did. That is why they did it. They want you to block off your heart from spirit. Don't meditate. Don't pray. Don't look at spirit in a positive light. They bring chaos, the conflict, magic that they would usually put between people, they start to put it between you and God. You got to catch yourself. You got to, I've said this before, you got to monitor yourself. You got to see when people are sending chaos towards you, rage towards you. And when there's things that they've done and you haven't yet had an opportunity to heal it, it's going to work. It's going to work, because how easy do you think it's going to be to heal a betrayal or of a deep relationship or a death in a family? How easy is that going to be to heal? That's going to feel impossible to heal. These people are going to set up all these illusions, paint all of these things, and then 2 seconds later be like, delete the channel. No. But I enjoyed the journey. I did. Actually, I'm lying. I did not enjoy the journey. I am grateful for the lessons. I am. I'm very grateful for the lessons that have happened. This is crazy. This is so crazy. These people are out of their minds. The evidence is all over the place. It is so bad. There are so many witnesses. It is so bad. The point of all of this is to wake up to your true self and your true nature. And let me tell you, waking up to your true self, it might not look the way that you think it's going to look. You might not look in the spirit the way that you thought you would look. When they say angel, earth angel, this and that, I'm fully not even, my opinions on it, I'm not even going to give my personal opinions on it, so they don't go write it down in their little documents anyway, and it doesn't really matter. We're all going to have our own take on it. But I'm going to tell you, you have to try not to judge life from the framework of Christianity. You have to look outside of Christianity. You have to look at things just as they appear to you, and don't make up details as much as you can. So really trust the process of what you're going through. Trust what you see. Trust how things are working out. And regardless of what it looks like, listen, my situation looks different every week, every month. There's always a whole bunch of like new illusions and nonsense going on. So dumb. It's very dumb. But it is what it is. We gotta walk this path, and it is what it is. You gotta learn how things work here. And you gotta just let God guide the process and just let it be what it is. People trying to block your spiritual gifts, block downloads and whatever, God has to take care of it. Like, I'm telling you, there's a difference between letting people get away with constantly putting their hands on you spiritually and literally letting God deal with situations. Let God handle it. I'm telling you, let God handle it. It is what it is. Say a prayer. Don't go do spell work. Because you say a prayer, God's like, hey, we don't honor this prayer, it doesn't get answered, move along. That's it. Just move along. Didn't get answered. God didn't want that prayer. God said, you know, whatever the case is, don't go forcing things because you don't know why God has the path the way it is. You don't think it's crazy to go through. This is not the first time God says to play along. We've been playing along with these people so long, so from the beginning. From the beginning. Playing along from the very beginning. And there is a lot of times they know that you're playing along. They don't care. You know they're playing along. It's a ridiculous situation all around. These people are trying to exchange sexual energy, and you need to understand that that's a very dangerous thing to do. That was the point. That is the point. That is something that you're not supposed to do under any circumstances. Be very careful. Be very mindful, because you're not gonna come back from stuff like that very well. And just unfortunately, it's like I'm not. You kind of have to let it play out, because you don't have another choice. God's gonna ring the alarm, blow the trumpet, whatever, when God is ready, when God is good and ready, because God knows who God wants to meet. And that's the thing that I've had to come to terms with every single time. God knows who God wants to meet here. God is meeting people. They're seeing that. Oh, you used to get away with it? Yeah, you didn't get away with it this time, did you? You're not getting away with it this time, are you? It really is looking like the end for you, isn't it? That's what it's supposed to be. That's what it's supposed to be. These are spiritual crimes. These are very, very heavy spiritual crimes against people, but against God's people now. Now it's like against people that it should just never be done. It should just never be done. So that is my message. And, you guys can scribble it in your little digital notebooks and keep sharing it, but you're not going to put your hands on myself, on my family, on my cats, all of that. Like, you guys are just not going to keep doing that. And when this message goes out, if there's anybody listening that's actually a target, you need to get yourself to the point that you can spiritually defend yourself. Otherwise, you're going to remain. These people are so bad. These people are even manipulating the scriptures that have to be read. Like, this is, for people that don't believe in God, I guess it's nothing. But when you believe in God, you're just so disgusted that people can do things like this. Like, you're disgusted. This is disgusting behavior. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, there should be boundaries. There should be boundaries, but you're dealing with certain people. Like, it is what it is. So I'm not going to read. This is the second night I'm not going to read a scripture. I ask God to please just hurry up with this situation. I feel so disgusted every day that I come to terms with this kind of energy. I'm not talking about demonic energy. This is a person. Because this is not human. I don't know what this person is. I don't know how this happened. I don't know how someone could be so dark. But this is what, disgusted with these situations. I think this is part of the hardest part for most of us. It's just constantly being exposed to this type of energy. Like, my goodness, I wish I never experienced this. I remember saying early on, like, these energies, if they were to come around and you were wearing white, they would stain your garments, because it's like, just by being in the vicinity, they're so horrible. And they portray themselves in society to be people that are upstanding, but like, there's nothing upstanding about gang stalking, especially gang stalking in the spiritual harassment of people. There's nothing okay about this. So it is what it is. This is my message for the night. I just want everybody to know that God is actually here. God is with you. God is with you. No matter what it feels like, God is with you. And I can only imagine, and I did imagine many times, what that girl probably felt like when she realized that she was manipulated in that way. But God allows things to happen for a reason. And when she felt like she was manipulated in that way, I can only say this much. It's probably hard to come back to your altar. It's hard to get back on the horse. You got to get back on the horse immediately. Don't skip a day of prayer. Don't skip a day of anything. Get back on the horse. Get back on the horse. Take care of yourself. You're going to make mistakes on any journey. It is so normal. But don't feel like it's a personal failure, because these are people who are seasoned in that kind of thing. These people are cursing themselves in ways that you cannot imagine. And they're going to say other people curse them, but they're doing it. They're doing it to themselves. Because you cannot tell me in full view of God that you did something, like you're doing those kind of things. Come on. And it's definitely people who do not believe in God. They search things on my account, like how to use demons as protection, all this. And I don't know if they're doing that so that they can screenshot things. They have access to all my stuff. Who knows what they're doing and why they're doing it, but it is what it is. Who knows all the things they've written to themselves and screenshotted it and saved it and all of this stuff they've done. Who knows? Who knows? And I'm at the point where it's like, who cares? God's in control. God will take care of all of it. Positive that they've been doing stuff like that. Positive they've given that material to other people. Positive they've done all that stuff. Positive. Can't control it. You just gotta let God do what God's gonna do at the end of the day. So that is my message. My message today is really a warning about being very careful in the spirit. I'm telling you, this place is booby trapped. I've seen it from day one. Be very careful. Be very careful. Be very careful. These are not empathetic people. Be extremely careful. And do not exchange any sexual energy. Do not, they'll come in your meditations and they'll say, watch a porno and masturbate and buy a dildo and do all of this stuff, and you're going to think this is your thoughts. It's not your thoughts. These things are not you. These are other people manipulating. These are other people trying to be the voice of God, and they're still going to try to do it. They're like, oh, it didn't work that way, let's do it another way. You just do what it is that you have to do and take your time with your journey. I know it's hard to come to terms with. It's the truth. And I know I personally sometimes don't always want to hear it. And that's why I'm repeating it over and over. Please, just take your time with your journey. Let it be what it is. God is always there. At those dark moments that you really feel like, I literally was sick to my stomach. But God is there. God is there. So anyway, this is my message. Have a good night, and remember that God loves you.